Jake Paul is now an MMA fighter, or at least that's what he says. He's announced that he has signed with PFL. But what is PFL? It's the Professional Fighters League, essentially a rebrand of World Series of Fighters, where fighters like Bryce Mitchell, Justin Gaethje, Marlon Moraes all came from, and honestly, it's a fun division. It's a really, really exciting organisation. It kind of works in a playoff kind of style, semi-tournament-esque, so fighters will fight throughout the year, and then at the end, they'll come up against each other for the championship, and they'll win $1 million. So, you know, it's good fun. You know, the last event I really enjoyed. Rob Wilkinson put on a really, really good fight, and honestly, I loved it. But it's it's slightly gimmicky in a sense, where it's got like the smart octagon and it's got the ref cam. So essentially the refs have like little glasses on with cameras in. You can see from their point of view, but the footage is always terrible. And if it's Keith Peterson, he might as well just be staring at the ceiling, because I don't think he actually watches the fights. But Jake Paul has announced that he'll be part of the pay-per-view supervised division. But again, it's not clear what that division is at all. They literally told us nothing. And we also don't know if Jake Paul's even going to be fighting in that division. I mean, he probably is. I mean, I don't think he'd market it so much if he wasn't, but he certainly didn't say he's going to fight in that division. What I suspect the super fight division is going to be is mostly exhibition bouts, or probably all got to be at catch weight. Probably not any professional fights, so maybe not even sanctioned properly. Maybe celebrities will be fighting in there, maybe even other YouTubers. I don't suspect that professional MMA fighters will be involved. Maybe like retired ones who are kind of, you know, really, really at the end of their career at the most. I certainly don't expect Jake Paul to be fighting an MMA fighter. You know, this is the guy who's built a boxing career off not fighting a boxer. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if the first time he does actually fight a boxer will be in the octagon. And don't forget, Jake Paul did wrestle in high school, and apparently he's got 2 years of jiu-jitsu training. So if he comes up against someone with very little to no knowledge, he will have the advantage there. But to be fair, he did call out Nate Diaz, but he said he wants to box him first, and then in 6 months they'll fight again in the octagon. But don't forget, Jake fights at 190, which is just between middleweight and light heavyweight. And Nate Diaz used to fight at 155 and then primarily 170. So already he's got a 20-pound weight advantage, which is just ridiculous. I'm a big fan of Nate, and you know, he's a legit fighter, he's a really tough guy, but he showed he's too slow, and he's not the fighter he was when he fought Tony Ferguson, and he really, really got hurt with those leg kicks. But even with all of Nate's experience, Jake Paul has all of the physical advantages. He spoke quite a bit about fighter pay, saying that they'd be able to get their own sponsorships and that they get 50% of the revenue, which to be honest I'm glad of, because I'm a real advocate for fighter pay to be increased and for them to get a more fair share. But I wouldn't get too excited, because in all honesty I don't know how well PFL actually does in pay-per-views, because their last event was free on Channel 4 in the UK, and it was streamed on the Channel 4 YouTube channel. So everyone realised if they just got a VPN, they could watch the whole event for free. So 50% of nothing is still nothing. And I don't really know if Jake Paul even does truly care about fighter pay. Anything I say now is just conjecture, but it kind of feels as though he's just trying to get a dig at the UFC, try to grasp at some more fans, like, oh, look at me, you know, I'm pushing for fighter pay, you know, come like me. And you know, and this is a guy who's allegedly been involved with a lot of scams as well, so it's difficult to really trust his word. Overall, I suspect that this super fight division is going to be a bit of a gimmick anyway. There's probably not really going to be any fights that I'm interested in. It'll probably be very underwhelming. I expect the skill level not to be very high, and I just don't think a lot of people are going to tune in. Don't forget, this guy doesn't even sell his boxing matches anymore. But I do think that's all we've got time for. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help us out.